Peel back the layers of any beautiful surface, and you may be startled by what you find. Because within every beautiful structure, behind walls, there are dark and seemingly empty rooms, and beauty is measured in skin. But when you begin to lift veils and remove masks, the phantoms beneath are revealed.
Before Frankenstein. Before Dracula. There was the man of 1,000 faces, Lon Chaney, a man who was a living, breathing revolution of horror cinema. His memorable nickname of the Man of 1,000 Faces came from the fact that he, with his incredible skills and imagination, was able to create his very own makeup with each performance, and gave us some of cinema's earliest and most truly unforgettable on-screen monsters. Setting a standard for what the face of horror should look like. Among the many famous faces he would birth into the world of horror, arguably his most notorious and instantly recognizable was that of the Phantom. In Universal Studios' 1925 production of The Phantom of the Opera. Directed by Rupert Julian. The Phantom of the Opera is a tale that has been remade and retold countless times, both on stage and in cinema. And this silent film version, in many ways, is the most memorable, due to Lon Chaney's unforgettable performance and iconic image. The Phantom, who is said to haunt the famous Grand Opera House in Paris, a beautiful theater that also houses a cellar that was once used as a dungeon to torture prisoners. These cellars are where the Phantom dwells, who to most occupants of the opera house is no more than a myth. However, during the theater's most prosperous season, the managers mysteriously resign. After the opera house's original managers hand over the rights to a new set of managers, they warn them about the ghost of the theater. And say that he can even be seen at times seated in Box 5 watching the theater's performances, leading to a memorable moment where the skeptical new managers enter Box 5 to be startled when they see a figure fitting the ghost's description sitting with their back to the two men. They flee, but after garnering their courage again, re-enter to find the seat now empty. This was a bit of a grand haunted house movie for early cinema goers that ultimately leads to an even grander thriller monster movie. When our main female lead, Christine, discovers that she has a rather mysterious admirer who can help her singing career lead to stardom. Christine's competition received threatening letters warning of dire consequences if Christine doesn't get to perform in their place. Meanwhile, sightings of shadowy figures are being seen again within the cellar of the opera house, frightening performers and stagehands. The Phantom leaves notes, making demands of the opera house, and when disobeyed, the Phantom displays the frightening things he is capable of. Like in the memorable scene where during a performance, he causes a giant chandelier to fall on an unsuspecting audience. Ultimately, the Phantom's plan is to lure Christine into his lair beneath the house, where he will allow her to venture to and from freely as he helps her career. As long as she follows a very simple rule: to never look beneath his mask. But of course, her fears and curiosities get the better of her, leading to tonight's scene. The Phantom introduces himself to Christine as Eric. He shows her where he lives, where he sleeps, and explains to her that he is not so much a phantom as much as he is misunderstood, and that his reputation is fabricated by man's hatred of what they don't understand and what they fear. Christine, though intrigued by his offer of helping her to become the most well-known singer in all of Paris, still finds herself frightened of this man and of her new current surroundings, and decides she wishes to know who this enigmatic man is. So during one of early cinema's most memorable horror moments, she sneaks up behind him while he plays an organ, in hopes to remove his mask. The face that is revealed is a classic image etched deep into horror's history, and is one of the silent era's absolute most powerful moments. This reveal, and Chaney's masterful makeup work, was a ghastly shock for moviegoers, and created the infamous Universal Monsters' first great monster movie scene that would foreshadow the legacy of classic monsters to come. The film would go down as an early masterclass horror film that would contain many other classic moments, including highly impressive color sequences, with fantastic use of shadows and gothic imagery, leaving enough to the imagination to make the film feel haunting. Lon Chaney's portrayal of the Phantom is a worthy first Universal monster, and the Phantom of the Opera makes for a worthy first entry in the greatest and most important horror movie franchise ever made.
Just like in the silent labyrinths beneath the Opera House, the man of 1,000 faces could creep through the labyrinths of moviegoers' minds, and without making a sound, could promise you a scream, as well as off-screen. Because the very famous soundstage that the film was shot on, Stage 28, on the back lot of Universal Studios, was often said to be haunted by a phantom-like figure that lurked through the shadows and ran across the catwalks. Often doors were known to open and close themselves, and lights were known to turn themselves off and leave you in complete darkness. That wasn't me.